I came in today and I was going to talk about MGM. And that's what I wanted to talk about. And there's been rumors that Caesars had a cyber attack as well, but they paid a ransom. That was kind of confirmed last night by the Wall Street Journal that they paid $15 million, even though it was a $30 million ransom, so they negotiated it down. And then they filed their 8K today with the SEC. And it's kind of infuriating. So let's just break it down. They had suspicious activity on their IT network resulting from a social engineering attack that happened against their outsourced IT support vendor. So probably the same thing that allegedly happened at MGM. Somebody got a name, they called into the help desk, and they socially engineered that person into resetting a password and probably multi-factor authentication. So that's how they gained initial access into Caesars. Then they launched their attack. They don't specify what all got attacked. They just specify that their loyalty program database got stolen. And you're thinking, okay, it's a loyalty program database. What could possibly be in there, right? Social security numbers and driver's licenses, along with your name, your address, and your birthday. Cool. So they pretty much have your identity. Awesome. But they have no proof that anybody stole your loyalty password, your PIN, your bank account information, or your payment card information, so your credit cards. Well, that's cool. They just have your identity. They just don't have your payment information. What could they possibly do with your identity? And this is the thing that's infuriating about these types of attacks. Social engineering happens. They even detail in here how any company can be affected by something like this. And they're right. Any company could be. It doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are. This is stuff that happens every day. MGM is dealing with this right now. But this kind of response is the problem. Why was social security numbers and driver's licenses unencrypted, accessible, but then payment card information allegedly wasn't? Well, one, they're supposed to encrypt that. Well, why wasn't the other stuff encrypted? Why wasn't it protected? Why did it take that long? And these are the things that they may or may not answer. There's some SEC changes that are coming in December that are going to require them to report this to the federal government quicker because they're public companies. But it goes on in this whole thing, and they said and I'll read this. We have incurred and may continue to incur certain expenses related to this attack, including expenses to respond, remediate, and investigate this matter. Perfectly fine, right? They don't think that their operations are going to be affected by this at all. They just think people are just going to go on about their day, gambling, everything, doing business with them. And this is why the shit matters. Because these companies don't care. What's the fine going to be for this? Who's going to get penalized for something like this? They can survive this kind of attack. They were able to pay $15 million allegedly for this. So if you have a business today, are you protected against some attack like this? Most help desks will just help somebody. They don't do a user verification. And that's something that should be done. My company does that. We have user verification for when somebody calls in. They can't verify, passwords don't get reset. That's something that's fundamental that should be part of this. And I'm sure they said that they're third-party hardened and this won't happen again. That's probably what they implemented. They've just implemented some sort of user verification process that if they can't provide something, that they just can't do it. But it can still happen, and that's the problem. And until these companies are fined or criminal charges are brought against people that enforce this and protect us, this stuff's going to keep happening. And out of this too, if you want identity protection, you can call an 888 number, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday, but not on holidays. Yeah, and then eventually we'll get stuff in the mail saying, hey, your information was exposed, here's how you can register, stuff like that. But there's really no penalty to this. I want to see the SEC fine, I want to see the FTC go after them, and I want to see what's going to happen in this case, and I think everybody does. And the ongoing MGM, I'll talk about that in another video. But until next time, stay cyber safe.